21st century woman is the woman who is confident, who is independent, who knows what to achieve, who knows where she has to put her foot down, who knows what to do and what not to do, who has a choice, who can conquer, who is passionate, who is inspirational. That's what 21st century is all about.
She can compete with anybody and she's better than most of them.
I think the difference between neo-feminism and conventional feminism of the 60s and Gloria Steinem, etc., is that, you know, neo-feminism is about making your own choices and not allowing yourself to be defined.
I don't think there has ever been a feminist movement in Pakistan, so I don't think there's been a revival of the feminist movement. I do believe that there have been certain issues and causes that, you know, have attracted more women activists than men. I can clearly remember the example of war against rape. I remember the Hudud ordinance and a few other things like that. But by and large, it's been issue-based for a very short time, and then it kind of dissipates into the larger sea of problems that we have impacting all other issues of our lives.
Well, I personally have always been a real promoter of women in media because I think it is very, very important to keep a balance.
I think neo-feminism is really about being whoever you want to be and taking ownership of how you're defined.
I feel strongly about it, very strongly about it, and I feel that yes, it's not only as a designer I feel, but I feel that, you know, as a woman, you have captured a big chunk of the market in every field.
Life in media is one of huge responsibility. I think one has to be very careful of being objective of the point of view one sends across.
I'm not sure I'd say there's been a reinvention of feminism because I'm not sure it ever disappeared. I think historically, beginning with Fatima Jinnah, Begum Rana Liaquat, I think we've had incredibly strong female role models.
I think women have two major obstacles to overcome before they actually go out and conquer the world. One is the obstacle in their own mind, and the other is the obstacle of the family.
A woman is so strong in Pakistan because of the fact being she's a multitasker. She can achieve anything she wants to, and she can actually, like, you know, fulfill those expectations, either be it their husbands or brothers, fathers or mother-in-laws or everybody. So that's why I feel like the mindsets are changing as well, and it has given the freedom to women to actually choose what she wants to achieve and also what she is capable of doing it.
See the kind of mother women in our part of world make. I'm sure mothers love their children everywhere in the world, but look at our side of the world. The women, they raise children, they work in the fields, they work in the coal mines, they work elsewhere. They are in every profession, and yet they're raising up their children as well, and they're bringing up their families together. And I'm sure the future has a lot of potential for women.
I am incredibly, relentlessly impressed by the fortitude, endurance, work ethic, just the ability to multitask, the way that Pakistani women do, I think is mind-boggling.
The rules of the dominant culture, which tend to be men, will prevail. So women have a harder time negotiating that environment because they don't know how to play the game the way men play the game.
I was told once in a court by a person not less than a judge, बीबी ठीक है आप वकील हैं यहाँ आई हैं लेकिन आपको तो घर में होना चाहिए था ना, raising children. I told him, I said, being a working mother, I have raised children better than what your wife must have done sitting at home. I couldn't stop myself, you know, from not answering him in that respect.
Even the mindsets are also evolving. I mean, even if you see today, men who want to get married, one of their requirements is that they want their partners to be working women. So, you know, it's slowly and gradually, it is a slow and gradual change, but yes, the mindsets are changing.
As a writer, I'm very concerned with the issue of Pakistani female sexuality. I think there's something very wrong in a society where shame is considered a virtue. And I think female empowerment and sexuality are historically very closely linked.
You know, that's an interesting point. It's not going to come from outside. It's not going to come from legislation. Every now and then I see in the papers that, oh, they're going to have a policy on harassment and discrimination. That's more to do with behavior. Okay? If you take the fact that, okay, fine, you got a lot more women in the workforce now, which means that if they get married, husbands have to take on equal responsibility at home. That's not going to happen just because they got married. That has to happen from the time the boy is in his mother's home, and the mother makes sure that he does housework and not treated like a lardla, and then he's, oh, fine, when I grow up, my mother looked after me, now my wife has to look after me.
Up till now, we have not reconciled to the fact that women are equal to men, or in some fields they are better than men. You see, there is a lot of gender bias going on. Anybody who says there is no gender bias, I'll say with authority that woman has not stepped out of her house.
One area that continues to trouble me is women's education. There's still a greater emphasis placed on the male education of the males, and also women are expected to excel. You know, we have to work that much harder for any recognition.
The fact of the matter is that media has opened up a lot for women. A, in terms of employment, because again it's a safer environment, and B, by showing people what can be done. We have access to what women are doing all over the world, or what minorities are doing all over the world, and so we can take strengths from that and say, okay, fine, if they can do it, I can also do it.
Yes, it is true that more and more women are coming into media, and I think it's fantastic, and I think gone are the days, or at least slowly but steadily going are the days when families would be reluctant or apprehensive about sending girls into this industry. I can say from my personal experience, it is one of the most empowering, one of the most responsible, and one of the most decent environments I have ever been in, and I think that depends on the individual.
First it was the print media. People who were not into watching TV or discussion or debate, they read books, they read newspapers, and they became aware of changing society. Now it's the media. Every day there is a new turning in our life.
How many women are there? Because they have been appreciated, that's the reason they are there. I mean, like, it's not easy working from 9 to, not even 9 till midnight and everything, going out of the house, working, then also taking care of their houses. It's not easy. But you see, media, I mean, like, people like newscasters and everybody, they're like, you know, so many women who are in different fields.
I've been here for the last 7 years and I've seen a phenomenal shift. I think the media boom has had a lot to do with it. We see so many women working in the media as not only in front of the camera but as directors and producers and writers.
You know, we have people like directors like Saira Kazmi, you know, we have Hasina Moin, we have Marina Khan, we have Mehreen Jabbar.
I think there have been some shining examples of women in Pakistan. You talk about Benazir Bhutto as a giant, no matter whichever way you look at it, she was a giant for Pakistan. Look at Asma Jahangir, another giant for Pakistan. And then of course you have Mukhtar Anmai, who's another giant for Pakistan. And in 3 entirely different ways, they have set the example and raised the benchmark for women.
I would like to see more women going into creative fields and really making their voices heard.
I also feel that, you know, it is very, very important to keep yourself abreast with men. And I know there's this constant battle about, you know, equality, and at the same time, you know, we want our luxuries as well, but we are as intelligent, we are as talented, and we are as creative, and we need to keep proving that, it seems, constantly, sadly, but we do need to keep proving that.
Time is not very far away when you'll find each and every woman in every house doing something or the other, not only for herself, for her family, for her nation, for her country.
Life is unfair, deal with it. So for us to think that change is going to come, it's not going to come. We've got to go out and make that change.
Woman is totally worth it, you know, and you have every right to be independent, you have every right to be beautiful, you have every right to be able to make a choice and stick to that choice. And I feel every woman can fly, and she should fly.